Your CI is slowing you down and you might not even realize it. This is Depot CI, a programmable engine that runs your existing GitHub Actions workflows entirely on Depot's infrastructure, with faster compute, built-in caching, and zero configuration required. With modern tools like AI coding assistants, you can write code faster than ever, but your CI is still running at the same speed it did 5 years ago. You write in seconds, yet your CI builds in minutes. In a world where AI agents ship code automatically, opening hundreds of PRs a day, this bottleneck doesn't just slow down developers, it puts a hard cap on how fast your team can move. Most of us use GitHub Actions. It's the default and it's easy. But when every build takes 2 to 3 minutes, those minutes add up to hours every week and days every month, all spent waiting. And when builds flake or fail silently, you lose even more time tracking down what went wrong. We ran a fair comparison using OpenClaw AI, a complex open-source personal AI assistant with over 500 dependencies that ships daily. We used the same Docker file and the same application across 6 test scenarios designed to cover the full range of what your CI does every day. A full cold build from scratch to establish a baseline, a single comment change to test minimal change detection, a new source file to test incremental compilation, a UI component change for front-end asset rebuilding, a new dependency to test package installation and lock file handling, and a major multi-file change representing a typical feature PR. Here are the results. GitHub Actions averaged 3 minutes and 47 seconds, while Depot CI averaged 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That's 38% faster. Depot CI won every single test, from cold builds to dependency changes, and from tiny edits to major feature PRs. Depot CI uses a 2-tier architecture, a runner that checks out your code, paired with a remote builder featuring 16 CPUs and 32 gigabytes of RAM to handle the heavy lifting. NVMe SSD caching is built in with no configuration required. The result? Builds that are up to 38% faster. Getting started is straightforward. Install the CLI, log in, and connect your GitHub organization through the dashboard. Then run Depot CI migrate. It copies your GitHub Actions workflows and handles all compatibility fixes automatically, leaving your originals untouched. The migrate command handles everything. It updates the runner label, removes GitHub Actions cache flags, since Depot caches automatically, and swaps in Depot's remote build action. Your workflow logic and steps stay exactly the same. Today, I will be showing you how to migrate your existing GitHub Actions workflow to a Depot CI workflow. Our objective is to take advantage of Depot's infrastructure to improve our build times. As you can see in this repository, I have run a couple of GitHub Actions, and each of these tests took over 4 minutes. Let's see if we can use Depot CI to improve that performance. The first thing you need to do is go to the Depot website and follow their quick start instructions on setting up your environment. Next, you need to install the CLI on your platform by following the environment instructions. I have already installed the CLI. Once you have it installed, you can go and verify that it is running correctly by typing Depot version. You can see here that it is already set up. The next step is to connect your GitHub account. Now, let's go into the Depot console. To connect your GitHub Actions with your Depot account, go to the settings below. Click on Connect to GitHub, follow the instructions, and enable the connection. Once you validate the connection, it should show as active. With those prerequisites met, we can move on to migrating your workflow using Depot CI. One excellent feature is that Depot provides a set of skills for coding agents. If you are using an agent like Claude Code, you can install these skills to help with your migration. I have already installed them on this repo, and we will demonstrate how they help us. I am already in my repository, so I can run the migration command. This will essentially convert your existing GitHub workflow into a Depot-compatible one. I will also show you a few tricks I use to make it more Depot native. Run the command Depot CI migrate. It will detect the workflow from the GitHub folder. Just hit enter to continue. Now that it is complete, we should see a directory called .depot/workflows with a new file inside. Looking at the IDE, you can see the new file created from the GitHub Actions workflow. It looks very similar, but some elements are unique to Depot CI. For example, on line 29, it says Depot/Ubuntu latest. Since I have Claude Code in the Depot skill set installed, I will ask the agent to review and verify my new Depot pipeline to ensure it follows a Depot native approach. I'm going to pause here and resume once it's done. Now, Claude Code is using the Depot skill set to analyze the migration. It has detected a few items that require adjustment to make them Depot native. I'll ask Claude Code to apply the fix. Once complete, it provides a summary showing all issues are fixed. Instead of using a generic latest tag, it now uses a specific version for better control. It also ensures that instead of using Docker buildx, it uses the remote builder from Depot to take advantage of remote caching. It also cleans up unnecessary GitHub-specific steps. Now we can push to the remote repository and go to the Depot website to run it. You can also list and check the status directly from the CLI. While you can run and test locally before committing, let's try pushing it to the Depot console to see if the migration is successful. Let's go back and check one thing. It recommends adding a project ID variable to the CLI, so we can add that now. I'll copy this and go find the project ID. To find it, go to your Depot dashboard. I've already created a project here called Demo Project. To connect your GitHub repository, go to GitHub Actions, type in the organization and the repository name, depot-ci demo, and add the trust relationship. This integrates the repository with the project. To get the project ID, simply look at the URL. The first portion is the organization and the second is the project. We'll copy and paste that here. Okay, successfully added. Now let's review the documentation for the next step. We just need to push our code and run the pipeline to see how it performs. Let me push that now. Migrate. GitHub Actions workflow. We are currently in the Depot CI migrate branch, so we aren't affecting the main branch yet. We want to verify everything is working before we merge to avoid breaking anything. It's great that we can run from a feature branch first. Depot actually recommends running your GitHub Actions workflow and Depot at the same time so you have a fallback. Now we go to the Depot CI section and select our organization. Click on the Run and select the repository. By default, it uses the main branch, but our changes are in the migrate branch. Here is our workflow. We can see different test cases, so we'll run with the base and see if the migration is successful. This is going to run for a bit, so I'm going to pause the recording and resume once it's finished. Okay, the build is finished. As you can see, it took 2 minutes and 35 seconds. When compared to the GitHub Actions base build, which took 4 minutes and 24 seconds, you can see that Depot CI is significantly faster. With the help of the CLI, Claude Code, and the Depot AI Assistant, we migrated this entire workflow in about 35 minutes. The improvement is clear. Here is the key insight, and it is the most important number in the entire comparison. Look at GitHub Actions. The fastest build and the slowest build are only 38 seconds apart. A comment change takes the same amount of time as a full cold build. That is a telltale sign the cache is not actually working. Every build is performing nearly a full rebuild regardless of what changed. Now look at Depot CI. The spread is 69 seconds, and more importantly, the deltas move in the right direction. A source change with good cache hits shaves 35 seconds off the baseline. Conversely, a dependency change that busts the lock file correctly takes longer because it has to reinstall packages. The cache is doing what it is supposed to do, saving time on small changes and only costing time when the workload actually increases. GitHub Actions flat times look consistent on paper, but they are actually a hidden performance tax. You are paying for a full rebuild even when you do not need one. This advantage does not just come from better caching. Even the baseline, with no cache at all, is faster on Depot CI. Something else that might surprise you is that even on a completely cold build with zero cache, Depot CI is 34% faster. That is due to 2 reasons. First, the remote builder has 16 CPUs and 32 gigabytes of RAM versus GitHub's 2 CPUs and 8 gigs, 4 times the compute on a cold build alone. Second, Depot uses multi-stage remote building, so the Docker daemon runs on that fast remote machine rather than squeezing through a lightweight runner. So even if you have not touched your code in a week, your first build today is still over a minute faster than it would be on GitHub Actions. Caching only works if your cache is actually there when you need it. GitHub Actions gives you 7 days and a flat 10 GB limit. Once you hit that limit, LRU eviction kicks in. Your most recent cache gets deleted to make room, even if it is only an hour old. Because the GHA cache is shared at the organization level, one team's overflowing build can evict yours. Go on vacation for a week, and your cache is gone before you even get back to your desk. Depot CI doubles the default retention to 14 days, with options for up to 30, so your cache survives a long weekend, a sick day, or a full sprint cycle. The cache size is also configurable per repository, so a large monorepo with numerous layers is not fighting for space with a lightweight microservice. Plus, because the cache is scoped to each repository, one team's builds cannot poison or evict yours. Beyond raw speed, Depot CI is built API first. While that might sound like a technical detail, it offers a major practical upside. Engineers can wire CI into internal dashboards or custom tooling, and AI agents can trigger builds, check status, and pull results without a human in the loop, which is critical when your team is shipping hundreds of PRs a day via AI. You can SSH directly into a running build mid-flight to poke around, attach debuggers, or trace a flaky test in real time. If a job fails partway through, you can retry just that one step without rerunning the entire workflow. On GitHub Actions, a failing step usually means restarting the whole job from scratch. Per second billing also ensures you aren't paying for idle runner minutes. When a build wraps up in 47 seconds, you pay for 47 seconds. And when something does go wrong, Depot's AI failure diagnosis parses the logs and surfaces the actual root cause, not just a wall of red text. So you spend minutes debugging instead of hours. Every feature above is useful, but none of it shows up on a spreadsheet unless your builds actually run faster. So let's do the math. Here's the math at scale. Each developer, along with their AI coding assistants, creates about 15 to 20 builds per day. For a 50-person team, that is roughly 750 builds a day. That is the agentic reality. On GitHub Actions at that volume, compute costs run about $396 a month. Depot CI, with per second billing and faster build times, brings that down to roughly $231, a $165 monthly saving on compute. That is a small number, but look at the developer time. Across 750 builds a day, if each build saves just 30 seconds compared to GitHub Actions, that recovers about 400 hours a month in build wait time. Time your team isn't spent staring at a progress bar. With a fully loaded engineer costing $100 an hour, 400 hours represents $40,000 a month in productivity that wasn't wasted. Double those numbers for a 100-person team, and you are looking at $80,000 a month in recovered time, all against a compute bill that barely changes. The ROI isn't in infrastructure savings. It's in keeping your best people in flow. Here's where the ROI number becomes a feeling. When CI takes 15 minutes per build, you don't push every change. You batch them. 1 commit, 1 wait. 2 commits, 2 waits. The mental overhead of that cycle makes developers hesitate. You skip the small refactor. You defer the edge case fix. You tell yourself you'll come back to it next sprint. Those decisions compound. After a few weeks, you've accumulated a massive backlog of someday work. Changes that would have taken 10 minutes if CI were fast, but now sit in a queue because nobody wants to be the person who triggered a 15-minute build twice in an hour. Cut that build to 90 seconds and those problems disappear. You push when the code is ready, not when you can afford to wait. The feature ships today. The edge case gets fixed this week. Your team stops managing CI fear and starts shipping. In a world where AI coding assistants are authoring code automatically, opening hundreds of PRs a day, this cultural shift isn't optional. Fast CI is what transforms an AI-augmented team into a high-output one. If this content is useful and saves you time, consider liking and subscribing. A lot of work goes into each video, and your support is really appreciated.